Good evening, everybody, and welcome to is it episode 8 already? Episode 8 of the open mic.
Yep.
And we have a panel full of crazy pirates tonight. They're all out in their masses. But we missed the update on this week due to the raid still going on Tuesday. So the update came on Thursday. So we will cover, or at least talk about that a little bit. But mainly we're just going to talk about some BP tonight, guys. So hopefully, I know Brian's prepared his calculator and he's got some sums ready in that hand. So, how did everyone's raid go in the end? Was everyone quite happy with the results, or?
I thought it was a bit easier than I expected for some reason. I don't know why. Whether I was just better prepared for it, I'm not really sure.
Okay, and
I spent most of the month prepping, getting my Punisher tank already. I got 160 million, second in my sector, no coins spent, just hitting A sets and slow repairing. So it can be done.
What, you didn't spend any coin?
Not a one.
And you got 160 million?
Yep.
I think we all should give Brian a round of applause.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
That's good. Good, well done, Brian.
I'll retract what I said. Okay, I did fantastic once I actually coined the new hull, and then went around and got a Punisher for every single one of my members, with a few more of our guys as well. And then none of us spent a penny.
I want to give TSM a hand for that too, because he's helping everybody out. Yay, TSM!
Okay.
Nice. Lucy, how did your raid go?
My raid I couldn't speak there. My raid went well. I got the new hull, the new gun thing, and Punisher.
Nice.
You must have had a really handsome pirate helping you out.
I had a few.
Yeah, you're right. I did help her.
And how did that bloody asshole over there, Gadget, how did your raid go?
Oh, I autoed the whole thing, mate. I autoed the whole raid, and I got everything. All the shards, all the tokens, all the limited, all the prizes. I
heard you...
Over 300 mil, I don't know what.
I heard you really, really, really enjoyed hitting the Man of Wars as well. Was that right? Or
actually, do you know what? They weren't so bad at the end, right? Well, you know what? I went and hit them. First off, this is what's so funny. I read the brief on the Man of War, and it was all like, the Ghost Crawler is the answer to the Man of War because that's its weakness. It's got no thermal. So I went and hit my Ghost Crawler, lost my Ghost Crawler. So I was like, okay, let's try some Punishers. So I went to hit it with my Punishers, lost my Punishers. I was so pissed, mate. I honestly, I didn't play for about a day after that. And then I came back and I did it with my Rhinos and my Punisher tank, and I got them down to about a coin and a half per Man of War.
Did you post a raid, like a Twitter post at all, or did you just...
Hey, you know what, Lucy? I'm the one guy that's been nice to you tonight. I think you should just keep your mouth shut, otherwise it's going to get nasty.
Okay, moving on. X, how did your raid go, X?
My raid went okay. I really wasn't all into the raid for this first raid. That I just really wasn't into it. I ended up getting 90 mil. I was decent. I just wasn't all into it.
Mm-hmm. That's more than enough to cover the new tech.
Yeah, I got everything I needed except for shards. I didn't really care for the shards.
No, well, while you mentioned the shards, I said there in the pre-show, like I was kind of excited about the shards, and I did work hard to get them, but I was out hitting dubs these last couple of days, and so far I've got 9 Gamma shards and 1 Man of War shard, so I'm kind of expecting to complete a mega haul in about a year. It's just not going to happen at that rate. But so I'm not sure how important the shards were, unless they give us another opportunity to collect more shards. I don't see me really making much progress in the dubs with them. So I don't know how worthwhile it was putting in that time to get that score anyway.
It's a bit funny that the shards for the Ghost Crawler, there was loads of them before the raid, and now since the raid you can't get a single one.
Well, I don't know. I guess it falls down to some kind of unknown kick-side mathematical probability, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, weren't they also going to include all the other different kinds of mega hull shards in the dubs after the event?
They are in there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know it because all I get is Gamma shards from them now.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since the raid, I haven't seen a shard of any hull other than Gammas. In fact, before the raid, I used to get Ghost Crawler shards every now and then from them, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
and I haven't seen one since the raid. All I've seen is gamma.
Well, I guess what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to complete all 5 gammas, which isn't ridiculous to think about, really, because it's 50 shards, 10 shards of gamma. I mean, I've got 9 gamma shards in the last few days, so I'm just about to complete my 3rd gamma.
Well, what I want to know is the drop rate the same as the gamma, or have they left the drop rate on them the same as they were in the original drop bases? Like, are you going to get all your gamma shards and then hit like 400 uranium bases before you get a nemesis print?
I don't know. No, I don't. I think you could almost guarantee a shard of base, couldn't you?
I don't want to assume that, man. This is Kickside.
I mean, I've been getting 2.
I think Brian should get his calculator out.
I think the probability of you getting a shard, right, is one mathematic, and then which shard it's going to be is another mathematic. Like, so I think once you've completed all of the gammas, then say you're getting 2 gamma shards of base. Instead of getting 2 gamma shards, you're going to get 2 shards of something else.
Well, a question I got: has anybody in the chat seen a shard come out of uranium base since the raid that isn't a gamma shard?
Well, I have. I got a Man of War shard yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, I've heard a few people say they got a Man of War, but has anyone seen like a Hellstar, a Ghost Crawler, or an Emmy shard drop?
I got a Nemesis last night.
Okay, so they are happening then.
Just not for me.
They are. But if you think about it, if there's 400 shards, let's just say I've got 150 shards now of each mega hole. Therefore, I need 100 shards of each mega hole left. That's 400 shards. Now, let's just say I hit 1 dub a day, because I'm not coining my dub fleet. That's for sure. So let's just say I hit 1 a day on the free time that I have to come and play the game. Let's just say I get 1 shard a day. That's still 400 days, and that's not even calculating if I could get 400. Let's just say I'm extremely unlucky. I could get 400 Ghost Crawler shards and complete a Ghost Crawler a second time before I even start getting shards for the other ones. I mean, there's no probability as to which hole you're going to get, and once you've completed 1 mega hole, you could just start getting shards for that same mega hole again.
Yeah, you do, mate, because I've got 2 ghosts, and so far I've got 36 more ghosts.
You're such a wanker.
Yeah, but I've got 36 more ghost shards. Like, why do I need them for? But
yeah,
it just keeps going, mate. Yeah.
Well, I would say my heart bleeds for you, Monster, but in this case it doesn't.
No, it doesn't either. No, not at all. Shut up.
Yeah. I have a fair point as well. Of course, I get what you're saying. So everyone's had an eventful week. We had the update Thursday, and would I be right in saying that it was quite a smooth update this time? Yeah, no?
I didn't notice it, so it must have been.
Lucy, it looks like you're growing a cat there.
Yeah. No, the update, I didn't notice anything wrong with the update.
No, I mean, I know we've had a couple of bad updates recently.
Yeah, we have, so. But no, this one didn't have anything wrong. I think
it updated okay, but obviously there's a couple of problems with it. As in with the Foundry, obviously, you can't finish off one of the first items because you can't hit level 30 mining bases, can you?
Yeah,
so that was a bit silly. But I know there's going to be a fix next month for it and that sort of stuff. But that's also a long time.
And you can't do nothing with the Centurion either.
No, it's locked out. It's for everybody, which is frustrating.
And I mean, honestly, we were talking about this earlier, and I don't understand why they released the feature, 1, when it's not ready to go completely, and 2, with only 4 holes in it. I mean, honestly, I don't use any of the holes that are in the Foundry, so I have nothing to do with the Foundry.
Well, it seemed like a test to me. I mean, they said siege only, 4 siege holes first is what they were going to say, so they've gone for these 4 holes, I get that. I know later on's coming the garrison assault and skirmish type, but and it's actually not meant for us, I suppose, end players, is it? It's supposed to be for the people to catch up, which is what they always said. So.
Well, then why Centurion in there?
Well, that's a heck of a catch up, isn't it?
Well, it's not actually in there, is it? I mean.
No, but it's going to be in there.
It's like a tease, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, if it's not meant for end game players, why is one of the most recent holes to come out in there?
Well, let's look at the pros first. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. They've took the Dreadnought, and they've instantly made everyone that owns a Dreadnought have it straight to R10, haven't they?
I was chuffed with that, yeah.
Right, so that's a lot. That's a good amount of uranium you've saved there. And if they do similar stuff like that, let's just say that the DNX comes, and because as far as I know, that's what they're going to do. They're instantly taking these holes to their maximum retrofit level for you, and then given them some additional stats as well, as far as I know. Like I know a couple of the holes picked up some additional buffs.
But you look at the R5 Crusader. I mean, that's a pretty nice looking hull now.
Definitely.
But only if you can get the prints. I've been hitting level 60 base mines since it began, and I've only got full prints. It's like the other ones I've got 96, but I've only got full. But I've only had full bloody prints, like.
Right.
You need siege parts, and then you need crusader parts, right? And what I'm talking about is you get loads of siege parts, but you very, very rarely get the crusader parts, right? So it kind of bogs you right down, because you'll have more than enough siege parts to start the thing going, but you won't have any crusader parts.
It's a bit like the shards concept, isn't it? Same sort of concept, really. You get too much of one and not enough of the other.
Yeah, I mean, as well is if we're all out hitting these 60 base part mines to try and get these bloody these sailor parts, the smaller players that need the level 6 these full base parts aren't going to be able to get them.
It's true.
Yeah, that's very true.
I kind of feel like the Foundry wasn't ready. I don't feel that, like, I feel like we've been kind of just given the first 10% of the... Like, I wish that they maybe would have held off for a couple of weeks and just tweaked it a little bit more and maybe put a few more holes in there so everyone had a little bit of something to do, and maybe thought about, all right, you know, players are going to want to be able to hit those. Like, I can't do anything to the Vindicator because I can't hit level 30 mines or whatever it is, you know. And I know that I probably will never build a Vindicator, but the fact that it's there makes me want to do it. I want to do everything in the game, and you know, I just feel that maybe they should have. And I know Kixeye are aware of these issues because I've already spoke to. I even had a chat with Raken about it just last week, and I know that they're aware and it's on their radar to fix. But why bother releasing it as is? Yeah, hold it back a couple of weeks, fix it, then release it. Like, I just feel that it's too soon. It's been rushed out.
I think they're going to have a real problem with it because the whole point of level lock in the lower mines was so the big guys just couldn't go around and get all of the base parts for free. Now, if we've got to hit the lower mines to get these parts to do our ships, then it's just going to have a knock-on effect again. So I don't know what they're going to do, like.
Well, my only thought can be that they'd perhaps open it up and put them in salvages and allow us to get them that way, because I know they said that what they might do is take away the level lock, but when they take that away, say for example, when you want to hit level 30 mine to get the parts, they'll take away the level lock, but you won't get any base parts when you hit that mine.
But then you're taking the mines away from the
players that need them. Yeah, so it's not a solution.
I was kind of hoping that they would do something like they do for salvages, where let's say I can't hit a 30 mine, and then they do their unlocking thing. I go and hit a 30 mine. It's dead. I get my fragments, and there's a flag with the gray and white skull for me, meaning it's mine, but someone else can go in and get the res and get the base parts. One of the lower level players could do that. That would be a fix that could help both, although I think it's a little late to implement that. For the Foundry as a whole, I don't mind so much that they gave us just the first 4 holes. They kind of said they'd be doing that. I'm more annoyed at the lack of complete information, even for those 4 holes, even for those 3. Like, we had to figure out where to get Tier 3 siege fragments. We had to figure out all this. The only thing that we knew from the start was that everything was in level 40 salvages. And how many level 40 salvages do you guys have in your sectors? Because I had
no.
Well, it is quite useful to click you can click the Foundry icon from the world map and then click Find Target. So
you have to work that out yourself first as well, though.
Yeah. I had to work. Well, I don't know, because I'm not big, right? And this may sound bad, but I'm not really a guy that spends a lot of time in the forums. In fact, I only venture into the forums occasionally, and that's to look at an update post. I don't find the forums a very comfortable place. Therefore, I tend to do everything on Facebook. So if the information isn't on Facebook, then I don't tend to read it.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I was there looking, trying to figure out how to work this Foundry, and I hadn't even read the post in the forum yet.
I mean, the bits I picked up from the Foundry, about the Foundry from the Facebook forums, deflection type at the moment is siege only. That's these 4 hulls, and then will come the garrison, the assault, and then the skirmish. But it's interesting. I mean, the siege has got siege deflection. We get that. However, the assault is going to have assault predominantly, and then with some siege, and then skirmish, which is the fleet v fleet stuff, is going to have assault only, and then garrison will have predominantly siege, and then part assault. It's quite complex when you think about it, isn't it?
The 6 classes of hulls are making me a little sad. I think we maybe would touch on that later, though, because I'd imagine we're going to talk about the giant game-changing post somewhere later in this session.
Mm-hmm.
What giant game-changing post are you referring to?
The the one by our Scourge fighting overlord and friend of the show, G.D. Rakin.
Mr. Rakin, my hero.
Oh, what? You mean about the changes that are being made to stop the revenge from being used for PvE?
Deflection.
Partially.
No.
Yeah,
Deflection bypass.
Yeah,
Well, we knew about that.
We've known
weeks.
about for a while. We told everyone before the raid that was going to happen.
Well, Rakin come on the show and announced it 2 weeks ago, but
Has there been another post about it?
I
Maybe
believe
Danny's referring to that.
I don't think another post. This one is from the 19th, so Tuesday. Edited yesterday.
It's the post.
The post.
I think what they should have done was when you loaded up the game on Facebook, they should have just put a little message across the top of like the screen go here, because so many players don't know about it. It's like unreal.
What about deflection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would see they've had a bunch of messages in our bases on this whole thing. That's where I've given Kickside prop is because they have sent out messages, but then again, there's people that aren't reading them that are still building these and asking what they're for.
For about a day or so, they had a little information, I guess they call it on the side below like the FM little icon. They had the big red exclamation point icon, and it said deflection bypass, and you'd click it and it'd say, hey, deflection bypass is coming, click here to know more.
Yeah.
But they took it away. I wish they'd bring it back.
Yeah, it'd be good that.
Well, I think like for me, I think the one thing that everyone seems to be like the issue that everyone seems to be in arms about is right. We understand the changes that they want to make. We understand the division between PvE and PvP and all that kind of stuff, and the way that they've gone about it. You know, firstly by implementing the changes in our bases and now in the PvE content. But I think the biggest question in the community right now is we understand why, right? But did it really need to happen in the first place? Because that's what I think most people are saying is, did we actually really need this? Did we need this big division? I mean, did we? Did we really generally need them to do this?
We didn't, but the only way they could outroll their anti-hack software to make the hackers' fleets useless was to do something like this.
Well, the game's been reset. The game took a reset point as far as I'm concerned. Everything that's happened in the last 4 years has gone bang.
Yeah,
We're back to square one. We're starting again. Right? But did we really need to do that?
Well, to be honest, I mean, let's look at it. Dave said last week, I think it was Dave, was it last week or the week before? He does not retro hulls. He only retros the fittings. You know, this now you get to do the hulls and you get to do the items that go on them. So in some respects, while we didn't ask for it, we don't require it. At least you can do 2 things at once, sort of. You know, I suppose.
See, for me, I don't feel like we needed this whole game reset thing. To be honest with you, and to be honest with you, I'm not really seeing any benefit from it whatsoever so far. I mean, you know, we've had a raid, we've had a shiny new hull that, you know, a bunch of people have gone out and spent a bunch of money on. But other than that, what's really happened to balance the game?
Well, I was going to talk about some stats in a minute because I've just, and that was actually off a Wim's page. I picked up some stats here, reference the raid, and it's quite interesting. You know, over the last 12 months, we've seen a drop in attendance on the game, 38% in 12 months, which is quite phenomenal. You know, and the stats for this month's raid were literally 63k, which is down 12% compared to the November one. So is that the hackers that aren't playing now, or is that the fact that people are completely lost and they're just waiting?
Yeah,
or is it just lack of interest?
Also, I just want to say credit to Wim79 and the BP Nexus for supplying those figures.
Yeah, I was going to give him a shout out, but you know, because he's been collecting them for months and months, well, 2 years now, hasn't he? So, But those trends, and they've been this first quarter this year, it's averaged out that the average players is 63k, so that's reasonable. But normally there's a spike every quarter, isn't there, for a raid for the whole raids where it goes up at least by sort of 15%. That didn't happen this time, which I thought was quite interesting.
I think it's because of the hackers are not participating in the raid.
No, it's because of that.
Oh, I know it is.
So
and that's something that. Go ahead.
So I was just saying, so is the base figure of the players now actually around about 50k? Next month's raid will tell us the answer to that, I think. It's over the next quarter, it'd be interesting. So we potentially dropped in 12 months 30,000 players. So is that 30,000 hackers, or is that 30,000 despondent individuals?
I think it's going to be mainly on the hacker side. The kick side did announce there was a lot of players banned. I'm sure everybody in every different sectors is seeing how many players have been banned now. And I honestly think it's great because they've evened the playing field.
Mm-hmm. I feel the game's. I feel the game is a better place since the hackers are not perhaps running rampant in sectors now. But I did notice a difference in the raid as well. The amount of people requesting help was
lot more. Yeah.
But for me, like that for me is another topic. Like that's another topic before I even get to the point of did they actually need to do this whole PvE division. Because could they not have just continued? Could they not have continued the game as it was, just slightly altered the path of the content they were releasing? Did we need them to make previous stuff obsolete? Was that a requirement of this game?
But it's only obsolete for hitting bases, according to them. We will find out, but we don't know yet.
We should have like a debate show where we all sit and debate about stuff.
Well, that's kind of what we're doing.
You're not. You're like talking about a topic, then you're moving on and talking about another topic. You're not sitting and like debating.
Well, I think that I don't know. I mean, we do debate stuff on pages and stuff, but I mean, debates are kind of.
If we all say no, the change need to happen. There's not much debate.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think the change should have happened, but in a different way. That counts.
Well, I just think that we're sat here a month later with a whole, the Revenge is the first PvP hole, the grand hole that's came. Someone's got their YouTube on because I can hear myself in the background. But anyway, the Revenge is.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Someone's got their YouTube volume. You need to just mute their YouTube volume. But the Revenge came as this first PvP hole. It was set to be the first PvP hole to get us all PvPing again. To be fair, if you've got an old shitty enforcer lying around, then you can stop it. If you've got dead eyes in your base, you're going to stop it. And Kickstarter are about to introduce deflection bypass, so it's going to go from having some uses to no uses.
Well, it's interesting, yeah. I mean, I've got it down here. I've put down there the new Revenge, which is a Conqueror class. That's the first one of the Conqueror class holes, with its 400 assault and 600 siege, and then 2k ballistic missile and explosive across the deflection rates. Is basically going to be. I won't say nerfed, but it'll be streamlined to hitting bases only. This time next week, basically.
Mm-hmm. And it can't do that well because
all I've got to say is I told you all so.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted it to be, and a bunch of people went out and coined it that know me, and now you've got a pile of junk.
No. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying. No, for me personally, I'm not saying I'm going to put the hull, but it's certainly not going to be used for base hitting. It might be used for the opposite. But I got the hull using all the possible tokens I could, so that I could get the rest of my alliance, the Punishers. I know every single player in my alliance now has Punisher, which I think's for the PvE bit more important piece. So I don't mind spending a little bit because I only got 30 odd players that can get everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I did coin the fleet, and I've been having fun with it. I've been hitting bases with it, but I know that it's a short-lived bit of fun, and it's a toy. It was a hobby, an interest, something I didn't need but could afford to do. But I wouldn't recommend anyone else go out there and coin the fleet. In fact, I would say to save your money because it's overpriced for what it is. That's I wouldn't recommend. In fact, I would say to someone, go out there and build a PvE fleet and make sure you're secure to do your raids and your weeklies and whatnot, because this fleet is certainly not worth the price tag attached to it. What is that noise in the background? Did anyone hear that?
I did. Yeah. I did. Someone's watching Kiddies TV.
Someone is getting down with teeny tots.
Alright, sorry, it's Levi's Bob the Builder.
Well, it's probably more entertaining than us. No. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I guess mixed views on Revenge. Well, actually, there's not so much mixed views. I think most of us are sharing the same view. But, I don't know. Kickside do have my support because I feel that since Christmas, they have took this game in the right path. I know and believe that they've done so many good changes to the game in terms of the content, the balance, the adjustments of what they've done. It's just, as it stands right now, I'm struggling. Although I'm trying, I'm finding it hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel for this PvP division. That's I kind of feel like we're halfway through the transition right now, and I guess there's a lot of players that are waiting to see what they do at the end of it. But right now I am struggling to see that light. I believe that I still believe they know what they're doing, but I'm struggling to see it.
Yeah, I'm just not spending, mate. And to be honest with you, they're going to have to do something pretty special to encourage me to open my wallet again. I put 500 coins on at the start of the raid. I got 100 coins for the whole mess up thing that went on in the raid. I've still got 320 coins on the account, and that will last me till next raid. Because you know what I've done all day, mate? Hit uranium, hit armadas with my ghost crawler for free, and roll for crews. That's all I intend to do. Do you know what I mean? It's because, as far as I'm concerned, I still feel quite upset with them because they killed all the stuff in my dock that I'd spent a lot of money and a lot of time building so that I could play the game. I felt like they had been going in quite a good direction with the game, and as far as I hadn't had to coin any must-have hulls for a little while, and it was starting to feel a bit better. And then they went and nerfed all my stuff. And what they've given me since then, what they've offered me since then, just ain't worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think for players, for end game players, or for higher end players like yourself, Gadget, a large part of the why you play is for base hitting. In fact, it's probably the main motivation as to why you play. And then for Kickside to then take that away, it's kind of taken away a large aspect of your game, which is I can see why everyone's annoyed about that.
And then what they've given me as their solution to that isn't a solution to that. I honestly looked at it when it first came out, and I decided before the raid even started that I wasn't going to build it. Do you know what I mean? And so now I've got to wait another month and hope that what they bring out next month is workable. And if it's not, then that will be 2 months out of the game, looking at 3 months out of the game.
That's if it's Conqueror class, because if it's not, you know better off.
Exactly, and the longer I'm out of the game and in this state, the more I'm playing other games, and the less I want to play Battle Pirates.
Well, they need to kind of rush out some PvP content now, don't they? They need to force out some PvP holes now.
Well, content's coming, isn't it? Hole should be next month, shouldn't it?
It needs to. It really, we could do with one before next month. They need to do some sort of event and bring out some sort of PvP hole before then, man, because it's getting to the point. Nobody hits bases, man. How many base hits you see in your sector? On a regular basis right now.
See, I wasn't going to coin the new hull, but I did.
Why does that not surprise me?
I remember we were on teams. Like, when Monster found out about this hull, we were on teams and he's like, oh my god, I'm not coining it. Nope, not going to coin it. And then I seen him with fleet. I was like, wow.
Now Monster, he runs 4 Revenge and 1 Ghost Crawler per fleet.
He's been quiet for 24 minutes and he's just come out with a white whale statement.
Yeah, I know, but I built it right on the notion that all the stats were going to help with base hitting, and they don't at all. It's just it's like a bit of glass, like it's crap. So it's going to have to go back into my yard, and I think the only way I'm going to be able to toughen this hull up is to run bulkhead on it.
Oh, what? You mean like I said in the first place?
Yeah, but I didn't because it's just going to push the
fixed time.
And that's why I told you I didn't want to build it, because the only way I could see it being useful is if I put so much armor on it that it would cost a fortune to repair.
Exactly, but I thought, no, it's got some pretty good stats, so let's try it, and it's just, it's shocking. It really is.
And
Well,
there's so much that we don't know about the game in general too. And for base hitting, they're gonna add the deflection bypass to weapon types meant to combat PvP holes, whatever that means. And then there's 6 classes of ships and all these different classes of targets. And why did they do this?
Well, what the deflection bypass is about is it's about the revenge hull having ridiculously high deflections and people being able to take that into FM targets, etc., and basically burn through. I mean, I've got my Punisher fleet. I can auto the FM twice with the one fleet, but it kills the whole fleet. Liam did it with his revenge. How much did it cost you? How long repair?
I did. What, for the weeklies?
Yeah.
I did 1685s for 25% damage.
Yeah, same here.
Do you see what I'm saying? So that's what the deflection bypass is about. It's not going to affect your Punishers or your Neptunes. It's going to affect the Revenge and any future hulls that are of a similar ilk to the Revenge.
That's what I've got. I put it down as the Conqueror class ones. They're going to get slammed. Because the thing is, that class has 2 things. It not only has a siege and in the assault deflection, but it also has the CM&E deflection as well. Now, if they counter, as in do the bypass on the CM&E, as in obviously the missile and the evade, obviously, the missile, the ballistic and that stuff, but leave alone siege and assault.
Exactly.
Then it's fine. That
works
perfectly.
So it's only going to affect the damage specific bypass.
Yes. Yeah, it was never. That was never expressly. Yeah, that was never expressly stated in the post, which kind of made me worry. But I was able to kind of reason it out because if you're going to give it assault and siege deflection for all these new ships, making that worthless kind of there's no point. So.
But the thing is, right? All these changes, like Kickstarter have created these changes themselves. Like if they didn't put in the resistance bypass on base turrets, we would never have needed to release the Revenge. And if we would never have needed to release the Revenge, we would never have needed to adjust PvE targets with deflection bypass. So every single issue that the game is facing right now all resorts back to the one problem that was originally created by Kickside. No, and that boils down to what I said earlier. Do you really think that we needed this in the first place?
Precisely, and I don't think we did.
Yeah, jumping back, all the way back to OP8 and the turret thing and all this grand rebalancing that they were doing. For a long time before that, base hitting had been in the favor of the attacker, sometimes very significantly, sometimes less so. But with the new turret health multiplying by 5 or more, with the new bypass resist on the turrets, it swung heavily in favor of the defender. Normally, when you try to balance options in a game, you try to go from this to this, where they're kind of about equal. And they went from this to this. It's like putting a fat kid on a seesaw. It just goes all the way the other way down.
Nice analogy. I like that.
And just
it's like putting Liam on a seesaw.
TFC do by no means have anything against fat kids on seesaws. So
we do not. Just be careful because physics exists.
Physics do exist. Okay. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not slandering Kickstarter. I'm not sat here saying, oh, you should never have done this in the first place. But what I'm saying is, everything we're getting right now is because of the changes they've wanted to make. And as of yet, I don't see the end goals. I don't see that light. So I don't know if it was even worth it in the first place, is what I'm saying.
So slowing down and getting content, this Revenge hull should last 6 months, is what I've been told. So we shouldn't see another conquest hull for 6 months if we're going to go down the same concept.
Well, looking at the build,
I hope not, mate. Because if that's the case, the game's dead.
Well, looking at the build time on Enforcers, the 6 months is about right.
Well, that's what they said. Slow down content. So technically, the Conqueror class, this should be the first one. Next should be a PvE. Then it should be an assault ship, and then we should see something else we put in our bases for defense, and then we go back to a Conqueror hull again. So 3 a year is all we should see, really, to be honest.
Unless we see some of the existing hulls make it into the Foundry and suddenly become good at base hitting.
Good point. Yeah.
Which is one way they could drip feed us some PvP, is they could add in some holes into the Foundry, and give them some retrofit buffs like 2,000 ballistic deflection.
That was a Freudian slip. You just want radioactive defense for your revenge.
The point is, though, for the brief said it's going to be siege, garrison, assault, and skirmish. It's not going to be conqueror class.
Yeah, it's not even conqueror class isn't even supposed to go into the Foundry.
Wow.
Well, whatever they do, they need to sort out the drop rate on those bloody parts, mate. For that, because it's daft. I mean, it's like I was saying before pre-show, and I mean, I've hit so many 60s this past day or so, and I've just got no Sailor parts at all. It's just crazy. It's unreal.
Oh well.
Well, I don't know.
Talk about the FM now. The updates. Should we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Kickside can see 6 months ahead. They know what their end goal. They know what they're planning.
Yeah. Crystal ball here.
So for them, like they're like, yeah, well, we got to do this because we're doing that soon. But for us, we're like, well, what the fucking hell are they doing that for? You know. So, but we can't let. What my point is we can't see that end goal. So they're probably setting up the perfect, end goal. But for us, we're like, we're focused on the here and now. We don't know what's coming in the future, and that's I guess the confusing part.
I'm trying to look back at the hulls they recently designed, and notably they've had one or two key defense types missing. The Citadel has explosive and missile defense, but no ballistic and no radioactive inherent. And even this one, the new Revenge, it's got no radioactive defense inherently, and it's got its own weaknesses. I think they're trying to kind of build a cycle wherein you kind of sacrifice one thing or two, and in that way they can make like a new PvP hull. Let's call it Revenger, and it's got radioactive defense, but it doesn't have good ballistic deflection, so it's vulnerable against ballistics. Just things like that you can kind of try to build and tailor differently, so no one thing works perfectly against everything, and you still have meaningful choices to make, hopefully.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. That's all good, but why bring out a brand spanking new hull to hit bases and then make it weak against a base fleet that's like, I don't know, a year or so old now?
Build evade.
Make it weak against a hull that everyone has built and ranked and has in their dot gathering dust, right?
Yeah.
That's a point I actually did PM that point, that very exact point to Raken, and I said, look, why? Because I didn't even know that the Revenge was actually unreactive, which I found quite funny because it is actually listed as being unreactive.
Can't say I've noticed.
But I actually sent a PM to Raken.
But so's a Frostburn. A Frostburn's listed as being unreactive, and it still goes boom.
But I sent a PM to Raken and I said, well, why isn't this hull unreactive, Raken? Do you not feel it should be unreactive? and it was quite funny to see his response, and he was like, well, it is unreactive. But, I fully agree with you. I mean, we're talking about an enforcer here. I mean, that hull came out 3 years ago. Then it was retrofitted to R5. It went away, it came back, it went away, it came back. That hull's been in and out of people's bases for, every 4 months for the last 2 years. And yeah, I mean, why is it that they've come out with this brand new PvP hull with a great, fixer to PvP in, and the dusty old enforcer that no one bothers to use anymore can just be thrown in your base and stop it? I mean, that's not great at all, is it? That's anything but great.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. That's not. I wouldn't say it's a problem. I would say that is something that perhaps they didn't think about that they should have thought about.
Liam, the chat want Lucy to talk.
The chat want who? Lucy to talk?
Yeah.
Go on, Lucy, talk.
Hi, everyone.
That's because she's in there crying that you won't shut up.
Lucy. Excuse me?
Everyone's like, Lucy, speak, and I was like, I can't. Liam won't shut up.
He's passionate.
Oh, someone muted Lucy. Oh, sorry.
Liam!
Sorry, did you say something, babe? I didn't hear you. Sorry, so Lucy, can you please give us your grand technical discussion regarding enforcers and how they affect revenges on base hitting?
Enforcers are cool because they have yellow. Dave, don't mute me again.
I didn't mute that time. That was David.
You know what? He has got to sleep tonight.
So everyone is sleeping on the couch.
No, Lucy, come on. I want to hear it, Dave. Don't mute her.
I did. I said enforcers are cool. They shoot yellow things.
Yellow things.
Launchers, yes.
Launchers. You mean the green launchers?
Well, they're technically yellow.
Technically,
I don't know. I think
they're
green.
fine.
Yeah.
So I can actually go into a whole diatribe with a lot of math about this.
I let Brian do the math. Yeah, do the math, Brian.
Okay, so just a point of clarification before I begin. So they have the new super unreactive where they shed all the radioactive charge in between every volley, is that correct? In between that 0.2 second delay, your charge is gone? Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's an unreactive stat that isn't listed on holes, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, no matter what your unreactive stat is, it's always been the same that, unreactive does not work on its own. Unreactive only works with high evade, right?
And with a hole with only two armor slots, you can't get high enough evade.
Because people put a 6 times supercharge in the enforcers now, right? So, you've got to understand that each hit is doing a lot more damage than just a standard hit because it's got a 6 times supercharge on it. Right? And your enforcer also has a really big accuracy buff on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you need really, generally speaking, for my Punisher tank on my Rhinos, you couldn't get a boom on it, and that right there is 85% evade.
Okay, so there actually is a way to determine based on there actually is a way to determine based on the evade of your ship going against the enforcer's accuracy of 108% buffed, how often you'll get a boom on your ship. It's called the binomial cumulative distribution function. I have it on my calculator. Basically, you need to hit 10 things out of 12 in order to get a boom, because 10 times 6 is the 60 that you need for a boom. Now, when I go to Huggies and I have just our speed system and reflective coating at rank
Lucy, that is not funny. That is not Lucy.
Brian, you gotta unmute yourself, mate.
Okay. 4.1.
Sorry, Brian.
TLDR, worst case scenario, 4.1% chance of boom. One boom every 25 salvos. I can work out the math on that if you give me a minute. But even better, if you just add more evade, basically you'll have to win 10 out of 12 coin flips in order to get an explosion to happen, and that's less than a 2% chance of that to happen on any given salvo. So yeah, if a boom hits, you're going to die. That's a constant fear, and I understand that. It's just that there's a lot of ways where you can mitigate the ability for them to get a boom, and I even think that evade is better at making your ship survive longer against that than would be simple radioactive defense or maybe even shockwave plates. So just put high evade on it. You'll be okay against the enforcer as good as you can. You'll be okay against the Deadeye executioners, the javelins, anything that uses accuracy in your base. You'll beat against that. So high evade is actually the key. It's not that bad, guy. That's going to be okay.
Okay. Well, do you know what? I would like to test it out. Because so many times, like I take for granted listed stats, and they don't. Or sometimes they work in your favor, and sometimes they don't. And I think it's in this scenario, I would like to take a revenge and maybe max out its stats in evade, and maybe even put an evade upgrade on there. 2 D5Es and as much evade as I can get. And Lucy, I would watch yourself, okay? Right? No, and I would like to test it.
Hey, I got an enforcer to test that for you. We can test that whenever you want.
Yeah, well, I'd have to refit an avenge, but yeah.
What's some coins, man? I mean, you just dropped like over 4,000 building the fleet in the first place.
I would never dream of doing that. Excuse me?
You told me it was like 2,000 coins.
It wasn't even that beautiful. No, you just sit back.
2,000 points for one, yeah.
So to be blonde.
You just sit back and do your hair, all right? It wasn't nowhere near that. Remember, they give out tokens in the raid.
Enough for one ship.
Yeah, I got some really good tokens.
I gotta put my boots on. I think the shit's getting deep.
Yeah, we're gonna have to shovel our way out of here, man.
So quick theory check. At R15 maneuverability, the Guidance Scrambler 3 R15, 2 D5Es R15, Speed System 5, on a Revenge Hull, your Enforcer is going to get a boom.
He's actually using the calculator right now.
Yeah, change your Guidance Scrambler for Agility 4.
Agility 4. Okay, I will get back on that in a second.
Yeah.
Now we just realised how much of a geek Brian is. I like him.
Brian,
He's good.
Yeah.
He's not a geek. He's just good at math.
That's good. I like it. I like it. I've always said I'm not rubbish at maths.
Yeah, but the problem with this game is you can't use maths to work anything out because things rarely work in Kix Island the way that they work in the real world. So most of your maths are invalid when it comes to Kix Island.
Mine's all based on probability. That's how I do it.
I allow Lucy to do all my mathematical calculations.
Agility System 4, 0.17% of a chance of a boom. Everything R15, 2 D5Es, Agility System 4, Speed System 5.
Boom.
Point at Liam.
Okay, but it doesn't fix the Deadeye problem.
No, it does. It helps with the Deadeye. I mean, when you've got your evade up to like 80-85%,
what does the evade go to?
But don't build them all the same though. Just build two.
I'll take a look now.
What does the evade go to, David? Brian?
The evade, Agility System 4, and the R15s is, oh my god, will it show me already? 64.8%.
See, that just seems too low to me.
Yeah, well, it used to always be, especially when us were doing the jugs back in the day, 63% stop the boom. But then they brought out the supercharges and all that crap. So that changed, didn't it? But it was 63% evade, but that's changed now.
Yeah, Brian's a new boom boy.
I like that. That's a good nickname for you, Brian, the boom boy.
I don't know about this, guys.
I can see you like in a 70s disco with the glow sticks, just going for it.
He's not that old.
What?
72%.
And it's just a big sign, boom boy.
The big gold chain around his neck.
Yeah.
So while he's doing his maths there, do you think some of the lower levels are a bit frustrated that obviously they went and got Siege 1 and Siege Bat 1 and 2, and then they stuck it straight in the FM afterwards?
Wow, I already know someone who's really upset with that.
That's a bit naughty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you waited long enough to claim your prizes, that wouldn't be a problem. 70.4% evade if you put Guidance Scrambler 3R15, by the way.
I would love to see Brian and Ren go at it with Kixi maths about stuff.
You should have a maths off. No calculators allowed, though. Calculators allowed.
And then everyone would just leave. There would be like 2 viewers, like 3 viewers. It's Ren, me, and Liam, and just
Liam is asleep.
I'm an electrical engineer,
Liam,
okay?
Liam.
I eat and breathe and live maths on a daily basis.
I used to be a mech engineering major. Congratulations on your really, really hard degree.
Thank you.
Agility 4, 2 evade upgrades, hydraulic resistors, and 2 D5E plates, and the 24% evade crew, you can get it up to 85.1%.
What about without the crew?
Clear the slot, 80.4.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
So, you'd have to go like guidance, agility 4, hydraulic resistors, strike warheads for your concussive upgrade. You'd be dropping resistance though, is the problem to do it.
The thing is, I would never build the fleet all the same. No way.
Can I just throw this out there as well? Who's disappointed at Combustion System 2?
Oh yeah, terribly disappointed.
I mean, how stupid is that special? Coming from someone that got it this week as well. I mean, it's absolutely stupid. Like, why release something inferior to Explosive System 4?
If they gave it a higher splash rating, it would be an interesting trade-off. I know a couple people have mentioned it with the new concussive Gatling gun because the spread's really small, so the percentage increase in spread isn't that big a deal. It's it's not even big enough of a splash to even justify it at all.
It's like doing the splash on the scattergun. There's no point. It's a waste of time. It's like retroing a scattergun. Waste of time.
I'm yes, I mean,
Frustrated with that one.
one thing I've noticed with this gun as well, I mean, in the preview server when I could take these holes to legendary rank, you know, that gun was okay, but I tell you what, when it's not legendary rank, it's like waiting for paint to dry.
I tell you what, when it's not
a good
firing,
job that hole has so much deflection, because it has to sit there for so long waiting for its gun to reload.
Yeah, when it's fucking, you can make a brew. You can go make a brew and come back and it's still not fired.
I'll just go make a coffee and come back. Oh, that's almost reloading.
You sit there like that. I feel like I'm up. You're like, come on, someone doing something. Game froze.
I tell you what, trying to rank that is one of the most painful experiences of my BP time. Is trying to rank that fleet. I put a triple crew on it, and I was taking it out hitting 71 salvages and 75 salvages, and I was getting like 7,000 to run, but it was just painful.
But that brings us on nicely then to the VXP weekend, or do you cash in and then upgrade it through lots of coins?
I don't know what the 50% off looks like, but I looked at Citadels and they're 20% off. And, 3 ranks instead of 125 coins, it was going to be 100. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to rush out, put a bunch of coins on, and rank my Citadels this way, I think.
I was giggling my head off at that.
No, I don't understand how anyone would ever pay for rank. Like, I have never bought a rank. I never would buy a rank. I think it's probably the biggest the thing to never pay for, and the price it's way overpriced for what it is.
I'll tell you one thing that's really good. All right, this is the first post raid it's 48 hours that I haven't seen one of the new holes come out fully ranked. So that's the hacker bit worked for that, because people were coming out straight off the raid with the new hull fully ranked up. Which clearly means you would have to pay for it, and that obviously I haven't seen that in the last 48 hours. So that's one positive.
Sorry to interrupt y'all, but Brian joined the show late. He wasn't asked. I know you're a low coiner. How did you do in the raid?
I'm a
He said how he did in the raid. We gave him a big round of applause and everything. What are you smoking, Trinidad?
Yeah, he did. No, he did. Yeah, he did. Trent.
Was he on then?
Yeah. He did 160 mil, no coin.
What about Robot Boy?
Robot Boy.
Robot Boy. Yeah. You haven't spoke yet. How's it going?
Has he got a mic?
Yeah, I've got a mic.
Hi, mate.
How's it going? How did your raid go, Robot Boy?
It was cheap after I coined one revenge. And by the way, Liam, I'm Gravedigger, the one that slightly flattened you.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Are you well?
He's a Welshman.
He's well.
Well, that makes it worse, of course.
No, I think it's great.
No, well, I don't quite remember. I do get flattened every now and then, but that was.
Liam's an absolute farm, honestly.
Was that you that got me with rhinos about 6-7 weeks ago? Was it?
No, you put it in a video saying, "Oh, I'm quite annoyed. I left my guard at blah blah blah."
Oh, you're the one.
He was the guy that peeked my base and DM'd me my space, and then went and flattened you.
I took my guard out, put the crew on, and forgot to put them back in. Went away for like 10 minutes to go and.
Oh, it's because I shouted on you. I remember this. He was so pissed. It was brilliant. So well done.
Noob. What a noob.
I was like, Liam, come here a minute, and he came further. We came back, and he was like, "Fuck!"
Well, I pulled the crew out. I pulled the guard out to put the crew on, and a fat lot of good the fucking crew did when they just sat in the dock.
Basics.
Liam pulled a noob.
Yeah.
I told him that one. He must have thought all his Christmases had come at once. He looked at my base and then he went and looked at yours, and it was exactly the same base but without a guard in it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. Is that you cutting out there, Nathan? Sorry, I'm gonna have to just eject you there. Just kidding. No. Well done. You caught me with my pants down, which is rare.
I hate that expression so much.
But it's a fact.
A fact, Lizzie. Caught me with my pants down, looking all insecure.
That's horrible. I hate that.
They've got pills for that, bro.
This is going south. Right. I noticed when we start talking about stuff like this, we're at 113 viewers, so the viewers have gone up. Since
we're talking shite.
Shite. So let's change the content of the show to the weekly dose of shite.
It's because of Brian's maths, the content's gone up by 30 mathematicians.
Boomboy.
I think it kind of like, it started off okay, it's like, grade, math, trash talk.
Liam's base getting destroyed. Woo! Right.
New record.
Oh, it's fantastic.
No, that was great. Well, thank you for that, Robot Boy.
He said in the chat that he got 228 million in the raid. Robot Boy.
Nice.
That's good.
Nice. Very nice indeed.
Okay.
So, Liam, do you want to mention about changing the PvE stuff that's coming this month?
Yes. Yeah, I guess.
Unfortunately, yeah. There's lots happening.
You mean deflection bypass?
No. I'm bored with that. The new targets, new skirmisher targets, new siege targets, new garrison targets.
Well, would someone else like to bring this up on screen and discuss this? Because I cannot. I wanted to get the release notes up, but my computer's wigging out.
I'll click on the forums.
So I've got it up if you like.
Wow, you're super quick.
So, scrolling down, Garrison, the PvE target will contain enemy structures or turrets, but will also have a small amount of enemy ship units as well. Unlike Skirmisher and Assault, these enemy ships will most likely be stationary or slow-moving, providing
Hang on a minute, Brian, one sec. Someone's got the YouTube going in the background. I can hear it really, really clearly.
It's not me.
I'm struggling to...
Not me.
It's gone now.
Yeah. So just double check that, guys, that you've got your YouTubes muted.
If you've got your headphones on, though, this is what I don't understand. You can't hear YouTube because it's in your ear.
Well, I don't know how it works, but it does. So
I heard myself in my ear and kept talking because...
Robot Boy, it was you.
No worries.
It's gone now. Go on.
Go on.
Okay.
Sorry, carry on, Brian. Carry on.
Garrison hulls will typically have both assault and siege deflection, but the siege deflection will be higher. Resistances will be tailored for current damage types being dealt. Now going down...
And they're going to be the new Forsaken mission targets, aren't they, on the 18th of May?
Yes.
Well, let's hope they get them right, because let's hope they get the lower ones right.
Yeah,
one of the things I find interesting...
It's supposed to be the raid we just did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, but also as well, so on an 85, because that's the only one I remember so vividly, if you take out the ships charging at you right at the start, you kind of just have the Kodiaks and or Savage Kodiaks kind of parked there, and all those other ships just parked around. Like, that's what they define as a garrison target as well. So it might not be the new raid target, but I suspect it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what they said. They said that the next iteration of the FM was going to be the current raid that we've just finished, the cycle.
They said potentially detuned version of the current raid. Yeah.
So a quick point: I feel that they're doing this to extend the life of our hulls, to have them use beyond the current raid cycle. Well, with their current focus on siege and I guess garrison style targets. They're not too terribly different from the current FM style. They've just got the few ships charging or moving or whatever at the start. But the question then becomes, why don't we use our raid fleet for hitting the FM? It's because we already built a fleet to hit the FM, and we're comfortable using that fleet, and presumably it does it a little bit better. We've already built a fleet for that, and we're going to use it there because the FM is usually more important than the raid because it's something that you do every single week versus the raid, which is only a monthly thing. So it's not... I don't think it was necessarily a problem that needed solving. It's nice, but I could probably just take some Citadels and go out and hit a 85 and do my FM reasonably well.
Not if the ships are moving, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, I for one, you know, when this raid cycle that we're currently in, which I can now tell you, I don't know if it's been said on the forums, but we're not going to see another raid like the current raids we've had. We've had 3 months of revenge-style raid. That raid cycle has now ended, and we will be seeing a new type of raid next raid. I don't know if that's been posted on the forums or not yet, but that is fact. That is something I can confirm. So
everyone that got their citadels up for this raid are going to be buggered again.
No, well, no, because I built citadels for this raid type, and that's what my citadels. I put out the video, one coin per A set, which I felt was good. Now, if they take these targets now from this raid and put them in the weeklies, I'm absolutely laughing because I've got my fleet already for them.
In some respects, that's what they should do. A slightly detuned version, but yeah, that should do. And then that follows their word that actually what you've just built over the last 2 months, because it's trial, test, error, and then get a good result in the last raid, which has just happened for most individuals, hasn't it? We've had a first one was a trial, then we tested what our adjustments were, and then this raid it's gone quite sweet for most people. Take that now into the PvE bit, and we've got continuation, and they've actually kept to their word, and things are going to go well.
Yeah, but what's this new raid type going to be like? That's what I meant. We've all just got our citadels and punishers all sorted out for the raid type we just had, and now they're going to change it again.
Well, that should always be we've got to have something to battle with. So if we're going to have to battle against the raid format, the thing you can fall back that'll be constant is the PvE chore type stuff to get yourself stacked up to the right levels. So.
Yeah, but you know what would be nice? What would be nice would be to have some idea what they're going to drop on us now.
No, they don't. They never do that, mate.
Well, they won't. We'll get a preview probably in a couple of weeks.
I know, but it's that's something that I think they need to look at because a lot of people say this. I've heard a lot of people say this. This is supposed to be a strategy game. Now, how am I supposed to strategize for something when you drop the information on what's coming like a week before it happens, but yet all your builds are 2 weeks plus per hull?
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Kadra. If we get a preview a week beforehand and realise we need a whole new fleet, there's no way you're going to build a whole new fleet in a week.
So, do you remember thinking back to the Snowfall campaign? We got a photograph of a bit of snow, then we got a photograph of a corner of a ship, and then we got the first event, and everyone was getting smashed all over the place because nobody built anything in time. Scourge, when that came in, same sort of concept. This isn't new.
No, but I was lucky with Scourge. The Scourge was over the top, mate. I'm sorry. Everyone I knew was as prepared as they could possibly be with the current tech for the Scourge, and the Scourge was just ridiculous, man. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I must have blacked out for those 4 days. I don't understand what you're talking about. The Scourge raid, just 4-day blackout.
I can hear feet again coming from.
Well, listen. Actually, that's an interesting that you brought up the Scourge there because I know that there's been some discussion on the forum regarding the Scourge. As far as I know, the Scourge are not coming back for the next raid cycle. That's something that I'm almost 100% certain to say. Although, Kickstarter could change anything, but I'm almost 100% certain the Scourge are not coming for the next raid cycle. But I do know that Kickstarter are very interested right now in hearing the players' thoughts regarding the Scourge.
I didn't mind.
And I would actually, for the people watching and the viewers that are interested in the TFC and they come on our page, I'm going to be putting up a post regarding the Scourge, however it's pronounced. I'm going to put a post up regarding it, and I want everyone to come on and talk about it. I want to know what you liked about them, what you disliked about them, what you found hard, what you enjoyed, how you feel that they could progress. I'm going to put the post up, and I want everyone to comment on it. And every single comment you make, I can guarantee will be passed on and read by Kickside. So that'll be an interesting post. I want to see how that pans out.
The problem is when you're fighting.
Go on, Monster.
When you're fighting nothing but subs, it's just boring, mate.
Yeah, and not just that, but a fleet raid is just a coin milking machine because there's no way, even with tactics and strategy and good builds and good driving, that you're going to get through that without getting damaged.
Well, to be honest, in the end, I managed to do the top end for 1 coin a set, and I was doing okay. And all I was using was a Frosty and 4 Rhinos.
Yeah, but what about the smaller guys, mate?
I understood. I understand, but you can say
the same
for
that. But how many refits did that take you to get to?
It took a couple. No, it did take a couple. I have to say.
Because they don't forget that they changed the Scourge. you know, they apparently made them easier, but then they just added all this like 500% accuracy to their weapons and like all this massive deflection.
Which is why I put the frost in so I could spot them earlier.
Well, listen, you could just put in a proto nemesis now, guys. All right?
Yeah.
You can. You can.
Yeah, you can drop in a proto nemesis and spend 5,000 coins on your raid, no problem.
Well, you did no better against a Man of War gadget.
So back on topic. Recent FVF raids. Was it Revenge Raid 5, 6, and 7? I guess you call them. Those were FVF raids. You could kite those out pretty well as long as you just understood if you were built fast enough to take out the HCs without getting hit by scatters. You could even do the top set. That in and of itself is interesting. I'll probably make a very long ranty post on that Scourge topic because I have words.
Well, I think with the Scourge, and it's just something that Kixeye said in the forum. I mean, I think it was Doom Rooster that said this in a post, and he was right. There was a lot of mechanics, and there was a lot of stuff involved in the Scourge that people weren't really ready for. We didn't really have the tech, and people didn't really understand the mechanics. Like, there was different subs that did different things and worked in different ways, and it would be important to target certain ships at certain times, and there was just a lot of stuff in there that no one really fully quite understood.
No, mate, I disagree. It was nothing to do with the mechanics of the subs. It was to do with the fact that they gave them ridiculous deflection, ridiculous defenses. You know, if those subs had the same sort of resistances as current subs in the game have, it wouldn't matter what the mechanics of their surfacing and submerging was. You know, they would still be a hell of a lot easier than the Scourge were. It had nothing to do with mechanics. It was to do with the ridiculous stats they gave them.
And between
it's very niche. It's a niche raid as well. You've got to have a Pacific type of hull, a Pacific fleet build to do it.
Well, we had to be able to detect them. That's what we had to be able to do. If you couldn't detect them, you'd had it.
And the problem is you don't get enough time to build these specific fleets before they cycle the raid out again. Do you know what I mean? Like, for a coiner, yeah. But for a guy who doesn't coin, you know, in the space of a raid cycle with hulls like the Revenge, you know, being like a 20-day build, you know, you're looking at 100 days to build a fleet if you're putting bulkheads on it. So at the end of the day, that, you know, by the time you get that built slowly, the raid that you're building it for is going to be gone.
Yeah, and that's where they alienated, I think, 80% of their, probably 90% of their game player population, because only the top 10% coin heavily, and only the top 3% are actual true whales, and they'll coin the changes of their fleets during a raid or straight after a raid for ready for the next raid sort of stuff. So.
I can't imagine who would coin in a Facebook game.
But the vast majority who can't spend that sort of coin, you know, how do they possibly have a chance to get that whole built before the raid they're building it for cycles out and they're looking at a new target that they need a new hull for?
Free to play, man. Free to play.
Well, I mean, it's been a very, 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 very interesting discussion tonight. We've talked about a lot of great topics. But we are approaching that time. We're 9 minutes over just now, so I wouldn't mind us ending the show. Is there anything else you guys want to go into? We can spare some time to talk a little more if you like.
No.
Oh, Lucy wants
You need to change her name to Buzz Killington.
Buzz Killington.
What does that mean?
It means, it
means every time he's having fun, you want to squash it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a party pooper.
You are a party pooper.
You're the biggest party pooper I know.
Shut up, Gadget.
160 viewers.
Yeah. Now we're getting to the interesting stuff. So guys, I mean, yeah, it's been a great show. I know we've talked about some topics, some good, some bad, some positive, some negative, but you know, it's important for us to bring. You know, sometimes when I'm doing this show, I don't always express my own views because it's important for me to take the views of what people are saying in our page and present them in the show as well, because Kickside might not necessarily read our page, but they watch our show. So, you know, sometimes if I'm saying something and you're thinking, shut up, Liam, you know, I have to say certain things sometimes, you know, which is not always great. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, but it's always a truth. And on that note, thank you very much, everyone, for supporting the show and supporting the page. you know, we appreciate everyone that comes out and watches this live. You know, 100 viewers on a Saturday night is fantastic, and we're going to carry on bringing you a great show. For anyone that wants to get involved in this conversation on the Scourge, please come into the page. I want to hear your views. I generally want to hear what people think about it. And you can pick up on some of the stuff that we spoke about here. I'll put that post up immediately. In fact, I'll go and do it now. And get in the page and have a chat with us. And we'll see you on Tuesday's show. Although I know Kickstarter have postponed Tuesday's update to Wednesday, so God knows what we're going to talk about this Tuesday. Another week of not knowing. But maybe we'll just let Gadget talk about his amazing ship builds again.
I'm not going to be on the show next week, mate.
Oh,
no.
It's my wife's birthday on Tuesday, so she takes priority over you guys. Sorry.
Of course. No, she should. And happy birthday to you.
Trends like that. What?
So yeah, no Gadget on Tuesday, guys. So that should really increase our viewing.
Jesus.
And we will catch you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend and happy sailing out there.
Have a good one.
Later.
Laters.